The little seed's big dream. In a wide, sunny field, there was a little seed buried deep in the soil. The little seed had a big dream. It wanted to grow tall and strong like the trees it could see above the ground. Every day, the little seed thought, "I want to grow and touch the sky." But the seed was small, and it didn't know how to grow. It felt tiny and unsure. One day, the warm sun shone brightly, and the rain gently fell on the field. The seed felt the warmth and the moisture and began to stretch its roots. It didn't know what was happening, but it felt good. Slowly, the little seed began to sprout. As days passed, the sprout pushed through the soil and saw the light for the first time. "Wow," thought the little seed, "now a tiny plant. This world is so big." The tiny plant looked around and saw other plants growing too. Some were taller, some were shorter, but they were all reaching for the sky. The little plant was excited, but also worried. "What if I can't grow as big as the others?" it wondered. But the sun kept shining, and the rain kept falling. The little plant kept growing, little by little, every day. It didn't become a big tree right away, but it didn't give up. It kept reaching for the sky, trusting that it would get there in its own time. Seasons changed, and the little plant became stronger. It grew leaves, then flowers, and soon it was no longer a tiny plant. It was a tall sunflower standing proudly in the field, its face turned towards the sun. One day, a bird landed on the sunflower and said, "You've grown so tall and beautiful. You're one of the tallest in the field." The sunflower smiled and remembered its days as a little seed buried deep in the soil. "I was once just a tiny seed with a big dream," it thought. "But I kept growing, little by little, and now I've reached the sky." The sunflower realized that dreams might take time, but with patience, care, and a bit of hope, they can come true. And even if the journey is slow, every step along the way is important. And so the sunflower stood tall in the field, shining brightly and sharing its story with the wind, reminding all the little seeds below that with time and love, they too could grow tall and strong. And the sunflower lived happily ever after, its big dream fulfilled, proud of how far it had come. The Magic Forest. Once upon a time, there was a brave girl named Lily. Lily lived in a small village at the edge of a large, dark forest. People in the village often spoke of the forest and the strange things that happened there. They said it was a magic forest, but no one dared to go inside. One day, Lily decided she wanted to explore the magic forest. She was curious and loved adventure. She packed a small bag with some food, a flashlight, and a blanket, then set off on her journey. As Lily walked into the forest, the trees seemed to whisper. The leaves rustled softly, and the air smelled fresh and sweet. She walked for a while until she came to a sparkling stream. The water was so clear that she could see colorful fish swimming beneath the surface. Lily followed the stream and soon found a path lined with glowing flowers. The flowers shone like tiny stars, lighting her way. As she walked, she saw animals she had never seen before. White rabbits with long, golden ears and birds with rainbow-colored feathers. Suddenly, Lily heard a soft, melodious voice calling her name. She followed the sound and found a small, glowing fairy sitting on a rock. The fairy had delicate wings that shimmered in the light. "Welcome, Lily," the fairy said. "I've been waiting for you." The fairy told Lily that the forest was full of wonders and secrets. She offered to show Lily the hidden places of the forest. Lily agreed, and together they flew over sparkling lakes, visited ancient trees, and even met a wise old owl who told stories of the past. As the day turned to evening, the fairy led Lily back to the edge of the forest. "You've had a great adventure today," said the fairy, "but remember, the magic of the forest will always be with you." Lily thanked the fairy and promised to visit again someday. She walked back to her village, her heart full of joy and wonder. From that day on, Lily knew that the world was full of magic, and all it took was a bit of courage to find it.
Tom's first day at school. Tom was a young boy who had never been to school before. He was excited but also a little scared. Today was his first day at school, and he didn't know what to expect. In the morning, Tom's mom helped him get ready. She gave him a new backpack with his name on it. Inside, he had pencils, a notebook, and a lunchbox. "Don't worry, Tom," his mom said. "You will have fun and make new friends." When Tom arrived at school, he saw many other children. Some were playing and some were talking to each other. Tom felt shy, but he took a deep breath and walked into the classroom. The teacher, Mr. Brown, greeted him with a smile. "Hello, Tom. Welcome to our class," he said. Mr. Brown showed Tom where to sit. Tom sat next to a boy named Ben. "Hi, I'm Ben," the boy said. "Do you want to play with me during recess?" Tom smiled and nodded. "Yes, I would like that," he said. During the day, Tom learned new things. Mr. Brown taught the class how to count numbers and how to read simple words. Tom liked learning, and he tried his best. When it was time for recess, Tom and Ben went outside to play on the swings. They laughed and had a lot of fun together. After recess, the class did some drawing. Tom drew a picture of his family and showed it to Mr. Brown. "Great job, Tom. Your drawing is very nice," Mr. Brown said. At the end of the day, Tom's mom came to pick him up. "How was your first day?" she asked. "It was fun. I made a new friend, and I like my teacher," Tom replied happily. Tom couldn't wait to go back to school the next day. He knew that school was a place where he could learn, play, and make new friends. The next morning, Tom woke up early, excited to return to school. He packed his backpack with even more enthusiasm and hurried to the classroom. When he arrived, Ben was already there waiting for him. "Hey, Tom, want to play with me at recess again?" Ben asked. "Sure," Tom replied, feeling happy that he already had a friend at school. In class, Mr. Brown taught them about shapes and colors. Tom was quick to raise his hand when Mr. Brown asked questions. He loved participating and showing what he had learned. Mr. Brown noticed Tom's eagerness and gave him a sticker for being such a good student. Tom felt proud and stuck the sticker on his notebook. At recess, Tom and Ben played soccer with some other children. They laughed and cheered as they kicked the ball around. Tom realized that school was not just about learning in the classroom, but also about having fun with friends. As the days went by, Tom became more comfortable at school. He learned something new every day and made more friends in the class. He even started helping other kids who were shy or didn't understand something. Tom knew how it felt to be nervous, and he wanted to make sure everyone felt welcome. One day, Mr. Brown announced that the class would have a small party to celebrate how well everyone was doing. Each student could bring a snack to share. Tom was excited and asked his mom to help him make cookies for his friends. The next day, Tom proudly brought his cookies to school, and everyone loved them. At the party, Tom realized how much he had grown since his first day. He was no longer the scared little boy who didn't know what to expect. He had become confident, made many friends, and enjoyed learning new things every day. As the school year continued, Tom looked forward to each day, knowing that school was a place where he could be himself, learn, and have fun. He was grateful for his teachers, his friends, and the new adventures that school brought into his life. The class pet. One day, Mr. Brown, the teacher, brought a big box to the classroom. The children were very curious. They whispered to each other, wondering what was inside. Mr. Brown smiled and said, "Today, we have a special surprise. We are getting a class pet." He opened the box, and inside was a small, fluffy rabbit with big ears. The children were excited and crowded around the box to see the rabbit. "This is our new class pet," Mr. Brown said. "We need to give it a name. Does anyone have any ideas?" The children raised their hands eagerly. Some suggested names like Snowball, Fluffy, and Bunny. After voting, they decided to name the rabbit Coco. Mr. Brown then explained how to take care of Coco. "We must feed Coco fresh vegetables, give it clean water, and keep its cage tidy," he said. Every week, One of you will be responsible for looking after Coco." Emma, who loved animals, was the first to take care of Coco. She made sure Coco had enough food and water every day. During recess, she and her friends would play with Coco, gently petting its soft fur. One day, Coco seemed sad and didn't want to eat. Emma told Mr. Brown, and he suggested taking Coco to the vet. The class worried about Coco, but the vet said everything was fine. "Coco just needs some extra love and attention," the vet said. The children took turns spending time with Coco, making sure it felt loved. Soon, Coco was happy again, hopping around its cage and nibbling on carrots. Having Coco in the classroom taught the children about responsibility and kindness. They learned that taking care of a pet was not just about feeding it, but also about giving it love and attention. At the end of the school year, the class celebrated by throwing a party for Coco. They made a special salad with all of Coco's favorite vegetables. As they watched Coco happily munch on its salad, the children felt proud of how well they had cared for their class pet. The lost pencil. Tommy was a boy who loved to draw. He always carried his favorite pencil with him, a bright yellow one with a little star on the end. Tommy used it every day at school to draw pictures of animals, cars, and houses. One day, during art class, Tommy reached into his pencil case to get his special pencil. But it wasn't there. He searched his desk, his bag, and even his pockets. But the pencil was gone. Tommy felt very sad. How could he finish his drawing without his favorite pencil? His friend Emma noticed that Tommy was upset. "What's wrong, Tommy?" she asked. "I lost my pencil," Tommy said sadly. "I can't find it anywhere." Emma wanted to help. "Let's look for it together," she said. They checked under the desks, behind the books, and even in the trash can, but the pencil was nowhere to be found. Mrs. Green, the teacher, saw that Tommy and Emma were looking around the classroom. She came over and asked, "What are you two searching for?" "My favorite pencil," Tommy explained. "I lost it, and now I can't finish my drawing." Mrs. Green smiled gently. "Don't worry, Tommy. Sometimes things get lost, but you can always try using a different pencil. The important thing is to keep drawing." Tommy nodded, but he still missed his pencil. Emma handed him one of her pencils. "You can use mine," she offered. "It's not the same, but it will work." Tommy took the pencil and continued his drawing. Even though it wasn't his special pencil, he still made a beautiful picture of a tree with birds in it. At the end of the day, as Tommy was packing his bag, he heard something roll off his chair and hit the floor. He looked down and saw his yellow pencil with the star on the end. It had been stuck between the chair and the desk all along. Tommy was so happy. He showed the pencil to Emma and Mrs. Green. "I found it," he said with a big smile. Mrs. Green smiled back. "I'm glad you found your pencil, Tommy. But remember, it's your creativity that makes your drawing special, not just the pencil." Tommy agreed and put his pencil safely back in his pencil case. He knew now that, even if he lost it again, he could still make great drawings with any pencil.